Welcome everyone. Today we're going to discuss about some of the more important and efficient things. This one, budget constraint and choices. Budget is a very important, and even COVID-19 situation, budget is very much important. Budget constraint refers to all possible combinations of the good that someone can afford given the prices of all goods and the income we have to spend. Sunk cost incurred in the past that cannot be recovered. Opportunity cost measures cost by what is given by up in exchange. Opportunity cost measure the value of the foreign alternative. Charlie Burger and the bus ticket budget. Budget constraint and choice. Type of budget constraint. Limited amount of money to spend on the times we need and want. Limited amount of time. Budget constraint result. You have to make choice. Every choice involve trade-offs. No matter how many goods a consumer has to choose from, every choose has an opportunity cost. Example, the value of the other good that are not chosen. The budget constraint framework assumes that the sunk cost incurred in the past that cannot be recovered, should not affect the current decisions. Calculating opportunity cost step. Step to calculating opportunity cost. Step 1. Use this equivalent where P and Q are the price and uh, uh, respective quantity of any numbers in of item purchase, and budget is the amount of income one has to spend. So budget equals to P1 multiplied by Q1 plus P2 multiplied by Q2 and so on. Step 2. Apply the budget constants equations to the scenario. $10 equals to $2 multiplied by Q1 plus $0.5 plus point Q2. Calculating opportunity cost. How many burgers and the bus tickets can Charlie buy? Charlie budget equivalent $10 equals to $2 multiplied by Q1 plus zero point 0.5 multiplied by Q2. Production possibility frontiers. A diagram that shows the production's productively efficient combination of the two products that an economy can produce given the reason it has available. Production possibility frontiers, similarities with the individual constraints. While individuals face budget and time constraints, scientists faces the constraint or limited resources. Example, labor, land, capital, raw material, etc. Because at any given moment, society has limited resources, it follows that a limit to the qualitative of goods and services it can produce. In other words, its produce are limited because the resources are limited. Different between an individual's and budget constraints and a PPF. The PPF, because it's looking at social choice, is going to have much larger number on the tax axis than those on an individual budget constraint. A budget constraint is a straight line, while a production possibility curve is typical bold outline. Example, concave towards the origin. Differentiations between an individual budget constraint and PPF. The general rule is when one is allocating only a single scarce resources, the trade-off will be constant. But when there is more than one scarce resources, the trade-off will be increasingly costly. Law of dimension returns. As additional increments of the resources are devoted to a certain purpose, the marginals benefit from those additional increment will declines. Law of dimension return and the curve shapes of the PPF example. If few resources are currently committed to educations, then an increase in resources used can bring large gain. If a large number of resources are already committed to educations, then committing additional resources will bring similar gains. The curve of the PPF shows, and as additional resources are added to education moving from left to right on the horizontal axis, the initial giants are largest, but those giants gradually diminish. Efficiency refer to the lack of waste. Productive efficiency. Given the available input and technology, it's possible to produce more of one good without decreasing the quality of another good that's produced. Allocative resources. When the mix of goods being produced represent the mix that society most desires. Why society must choose? Every economy Phase 2 situation, in which it may be able to expand the consumption of all goods. A society may be using its resources inefficiently, in which case by improving efficiency and producing on the production possibility frontier, it can have more of all goods. As resources grow over a period of years, the economy grow. As it does, the production possibility frontier for a society will tend to shift outwards, and society will be able to afford more of all goods. PPF and comparative and advantage. When a country can produce a good at a lower opportunity cost than another country, we say that this country has a comparative advantage in that world. When countries engage in trade, they specialize in the productions of the goods in which they have comparative advantage, and trade part of that productions for goods in which they do not have comparative advantage in. The PPF and comparative advantage. We trade goods are produced where their opportunity cost is lower, so total production increases then benefit both tradings. The slope of PPF given the opportunity cost of production on addition unit of wheat, which while the slope is not in constant through the PPF, it is quite apparent that the PPF in Brazil much happier than the US, and therefore the opportunity cost of weather general highly in Brazil. Assumption of rationality, also called the theory of rational behavior. It is the assumptions that people will make choice in their own self-interest. The assumption of rationality, also called the theory of rational behavior, is preliminary simplifications that economists make in order to create a useful model of human decision making. The assumption that individuals are purely self-interested does not imply that individuals are green and selfish. People clearly desire satisfaction from the helping others, so self-interest can also include pursue things that benefit other people. Rationality in action. Rational suggestion that consumer will affect the maximum self-interest and business will act the maximum profit both are taking into the account that benefit of a choice given the cost. Rationality and consumer. When a consumer is thinking about buying a product, what does he or she want? The theory of rational behavior would say that the consumer want to maximize benefit and minimize cost. As the cost of the production increase, it becomes less likely that the consumer will decide that the benefit of purchase outweigh the cost. Rational in actions. How do students decide on a majors? A number of things may factor a student decisions on a major, such as what type of career student is interested in, the population of a specific department at the university a student is attending, and the student performing for a specific field of study. You discover that the business analysis major earns significantly higher salaries. This discovers increasing the benefit in your mind of the analysis majors, and you decide to choose that majors. Rationality and business. Business also have predictable behavior, but rather than seeking to maximize happiness or pleasures, they seek to maximize profit. When economics assume that business have a good of maximizing profit, they can make predictions about how companies will react to changing business conditions. For example, if a company tend to earn money profit by moving some job overseas, then the result that economic would predict it. Major analysis called marginal analysis. Examination of the decisions of the marginal, meaning comparing cost of a little more or a little less. Marginal cost, the difference in the cost of different choice. Marginal cost, something go ups and sometimes go down, but to get the clearest views of your choice options, you should always try to make decision based on marginal cost rather than total cost. Marginal benefit, the difference in what you receive from a different choice. The amount of benefit a person receives from a particular goods or services is subjective. One person may get more satisfaction or happiness from a particular good or service than another. Economic rational revisited. How then do you decide on a choice? The answer is that your compare is the lowest of your ability, the marginal benefit with the marginal cost. Marginal analysis is an important part of economic rationality and good decision making. Positive and normative statement. Positive statement. Our objective and conclusion are based on logical and evidence that can be tested. Two type of positive statement. Hypothesis like unemployment is caused by a decrease in GDP. The claim can be tested empirically by analyzing the data on unemployment and GDP. Statement of faith such as it's raining or Microsoft is the large product of computer operating system in the world. Note also positive statement can be false, but as long as they are testable, they are positive. Normative statement. Individuals' value judgment of the speakers and the conclusions are based on value judgment that cannot be tested. Normative example. We ought to do more to help the poor. Corporate profiles are too high because people have different values. Normative statement often provoke disagreement. Know the difference. It's not uncommon for people to present an argument as possible to make it more if convinced to an audience when in fact it has a normative element. That's why it is important to able to difference between positive and normative aims. Know the difference. It's not uncommon for people to present an arguments as positive to make it more convinced to an audience when in fact it has normative elements. Opinion pieces in newspaper or on other media are good example of it. It's important to be able to differentiate between positive and normative claims. Quick reviews. So if we want to know the whole things, we can understand how to go for the quick review. How do budget constraint impact choice? Calculate the opportunity cost. What is the production possibility frontier? How can a production's possibility frontier identify productive and allocation efficiency? What is rationally is an economic context? What are some example of rational decision making? What is the impact of marginal analysis in economics? What are the some example of marginal cost? What are some example of marginal benefit? What are the difference between positive and normative statement? So quick review, which of the statement are the positive and which are normative statement. Statement economies would be much stronger over time. It's state invested more in educations and other area that can boost long-term economic growth and less in maintaining extremely high prison population. Higher production cost cuts have been even deeper. The average state has cut higher education funding for students by 23%. Even as state spend more on corrections, they are under investigating in education children and young adults. At least 30 are proven less general funding per student this year for K-12 student than before the recession. After adjusting for indications, 12 state the education exceed 10%. So this is the ultimately the way that how we can count the economy and economical factors and how we can generate the economical session in an effective way. If we can understand this economy and economical aspects in different way, especially how to generate budget, how to generate these things, how to go everything in an effective way, how can we monetize and create an effective things for research and everything, how we can analyze the whole things in an effective way, then we can measure the cost, then we can move with a different effective way, and then we can create a very good important role for our society. So for that particular issues, we have to understand why the this macroeconomics and macroeconomics related budget preparation is important, how it can create some impact in our economy, how we can generate different kind of things, and most important thing is that production possibility frontier. At the present situation, if we can understand the production possibility of frontiers, as well as we can take the necessary initiative for production possibility frontier, and we can go in an effective way, that time we can take the necessary initiative and we can solve different kind of economic aspects. So this is the ultimately request for all of our student, those who joining in World Talent Economy forums and School of Talent Economy. I request everyone, like, if you can focus on this like economic aspects, and if you can focus on this macroeconomics first aspect, and you can build up this macroeconomics in our country, and you can prepare proper budget, and you can implement the budget in an effective way, that times you can make a very good impact of the society. And most important thing is that if you have the good impact of the society, as well as if you can create more valuable things for the society, that time you can add values for your organizations. So this is the things that I request to everyone, that you should learn more, and you can understand more about this production possibilities frontiers. You have to understand about the macro initiative, and by this way you can grow together. If you have any kind of question, you can ask me, and you can ask me for questions. Thank you, everyone.